welcome to live action Star Wars Data Link episode. My name is James.
I'm Ralph.
And this week we are going to be talking about collecting Star Wars toys, accessories, anything that we collect that other people have collected. Lightsabers, helmets, Lego, everything in the realm of Star Wars things, memorabilia. Because let's face it, Star Wars is the epitome of things to collect. And joining us from Geek Dad Life, from Toy Geeks, we don't just have Jay. We're joined by Jay and Dom this week. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Wait, I'm muted. There we go. Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
This is actually historic because this is the first time John and I have been like co-guests on a show. Like we've done things like separately, but this is the first time John and I together are guesting on a show, right? John, I think it's the first time.
Yeah, this is the first time.
That's awesome.
It's exciting. I didn't know if this was going to happen yesterday. I was like, I really want Jay and John. We've had Jay on twice, I believe.
I think you're now recurring. You're our first three-peat, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't even think anyone's done two, honestly.
No,
and then he joined us for a full running commentary of the holiday special, which is a good 2 hours of podcasting. So Jay's put in the hours on live action Star Wars.
Yeah. And I mean, it was looking, until they changed the dates, it was looking likely that Jay was going to have to sub in for me for the Kenobi finale. But because they've doubled up that first one, it's now probably a case of that I can do them all.
Which we haven't discussed on the show.
We haven't. We have a plan for it. Don't worry, we will be here. But
everybody else, don't worry. But holy shit, you should have seen the messages I was leaving to James when they announced Kenobi was not going to be on a Wednesday, which is our normal recording schedule, and not on the same day as Celebration. That they were moving 2 episodes of Kenobi in 1 week on Friday, and
right at the start of Celebration.
That's the day that I'm going to Celebration for the first time. And so now I have to watch 2 fucking episodes of Kenobi by 7:30 in the morning, record a podcast covering 2 episodes, and then go try and enjoy Celebration. It fucked me up. I was I was
frantically Googling like Southern California emotional support lines to try and help.
It was
I
it was
I don't
bad.
know what I can do.
like if they did one on Wednesday, cool. I'm not going to Celebration that day. It's our normal thing. And then if they did the second on Friday, I'm like, okay, I could do 1 episode while Celebration's going on. Yep. But now we're doing it Friday for the first episode, Saturday the following day for the second episode. So I'm doing 1 episode before each day of Celebration I'm going. And hopefully that first day I'm there, because I won't have time to watch the second episode before I go to Celebration day 1.
Sure.
I'm hoping people aren't walking around yelling, Darth Maul in Kenobi episode 2.
I'm worried.
Put out fake spoilers, man. Just start wearing t-shirts. Get t-shirts printed up right now with fake spoilers for what happens in episode 2.
I'm Bosk in the episode 2 of Kenobi version.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm stressed out for you because there's no way the people that are attending that have not watched both episodes.
I mean, they haven't announced it yet, I don't think, but they've got to be doing like a party of some sort, like a viewing party of both episodes that night.
I'm not invited to that.
No, I'm sure that it'll be for everyone. It'll be for everyone.
Just you submit things as press and stuff like that. Our friends just have some and a couple others. They submitted to get like press access.
It is one of those things, like though for Joe Public, it's great. Like they get 2 episodes in 1 week. It's awesome. For regular convention attendees, it's probably a bit more of a hassle because they've got to watch it early before they go to the show and stuff like that. A lot of people are going to be in hotel rooms.
People are going to be in line waiting for a panel, watching it on their phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a good way to watch.
And it's not. It doesn't bring a good atmosphere to everyone because everyone's just going to be glued to their phones like this. Like, I go back to when I met you guys in 2009, and if we were all just sat there watching our phones, like I wouldn't have met you guys and hung out with you. And
yeah, but there were flip phones, so we would have looked like crazy people.
Yeah, that's true.
But don't you? I believe maybe I misread this, but I thought Celebration is doing the thing San Diego Comic-Con was doing, where it's a raffle there's no lines. There's no waiting in line to get into a panel. It's a raffle to get into the good.
I don't know. Maybe
it's my first Celebration, so I'm sure I'm not gonna I'm going to lose out on a bunch of people that know how to do this sort of thing.
About it is you don't have to wait. It is a raffle, so you don't know if you'll get in or not. But you just submit. You can submit right now, Ralph. I think.
Okay.
And then they'll tell you if you made it into what XYZ panel. I believe.
When they did Celebration in London a few years back, I got into the Rebels panel, which was like the big one for the day that I went up. And I just got in by like showing up late when they'd filled the hall and they just needed some seat fillers essentially. And I was like, yeah, I'll sit wherever. Like, so I just got in, and we ended up getting like 5 seats all together. And I was like,
oh, nice,
wow. Seats, like the second row. And I was like, how did I think they were the reserved seating that then the reserve people weren't there. So it was just like, yeah, cool, come in. But even no lines, just walk straight in.
The people management at conventions is always a little like, San Diego Comic-Con's the same way where it's full, but you're sitting in there and there's seats all over the place. So hopefully you have people that are managing it that look like, okay, I got two, and they just keep filling in throughout the panel.
Single rider.
You mentioned getting a press pass. Now, we are celebrating our first anniversary on May 25th, which would have been the release of Kenobi episode 1, but is not anymore. But I was thinking, like, do they give press passes out to YouTube channels that are kind of hovering around the 300 follower mark? Which we were talking about this a little bit before you showed up, Jay. But so our channel yesterday reached 300 viewers.
Yes,
thanks to everybody. We're back down a couple since then. I'll tell you what happened. So earlier this week, or last week, I went and saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yep,
fucking loved it. I don't know I don't know if we should do a Screen Geeks on this or not, but I might be a little too late. But I loved Sonic 2.
Same.
On my way out, I saw a poster for Top Gun Maverick. And me being me, I'm like, oh, I wonder who did the music for this. So I looked at the poster. It said Harold Faltermeyer, Lady Gaga, and Hans Zimmer. And so I was like, that's weird. That's really weird. And so I posted that. I'm like, I just literally posted, I saw this poster.
Yeah.
It got retweeted by a Lady Gaga fan group thing. And then people were like, hey, do you have pictures of this?
Apparently, Pixar didn't happen, man. Pixar didn't happen.
Exactly. Apparently, this is like a big deal. And Lady Gaga fans have been like, it's been rumored that she has ties to this movie, maybe doing a theme song. Yeah.
You're breaking news.
You broke the
so people are like, we need pictures. And I'm like, it was Saturday. It was the next day. It's Saturday. Me and Stevie are sitting around the house. And I'm like, a lot of people are asking for these pictures. And now I'm doubting what I saw. I'm pretty sure I didn't make that up in my brain. So I go, let's do it. Let's just go drive, 8 miles or whatever is to the theater.
Yeah.
I'll take a video so people know it's not Photoshop, because I don't want to take a picture, come back, and people say it's Photoshop.
Yep.
So take a video, and then we go to our favorite pastrami place, which was another part of this deal. Come back, and I post it. And it blows up. This is the first confirmation. The poster isn't online, because at first I'm like, here, I'll just find the poster online and post it. Doesn't exist online. Even went to IMP Awards. They didn't have a version of this poster. So this poster apparently is a big deal. And so my thing,
Anaheim movie theater.
It's in Brea.
Oh, Brea.
Yeah. So what I do is say, I'll post the pictures. I'm going to go to the theater right now and post the pictures. In the meantime, go follow liveactionstarwars.com and subscribe.
Okay.
So when I post the video, but then I post the pictures, and the pictures just say, follow my Lady Gaga podcast at liveactionstarwars.com. And so we get all these followers. And we hit 300 yesterday.
I love the hustle.
Yeah. so this is on news feeds. This tweet with the pictures that says, follow my Lady Gaga podcast at liveactionstarwars.com. And there's this one guy, and I don't know if he's watching, but he was like, I like Star Wars, and I like Lady Gaga, and I like Star Wars, but what does this have to do with Lady Gaga? I said nothing. It's a joke. I'm just trying to get viewers. And so yesterday we hit 300. Super awesome.
301. It was 301 because you posted in the Patreon Discord.
Yeah. So I post this episode This is the first thing I posted was that we're going to do this live stream.
Yeah.
First thing I posted since telling people this was a Lady Gaga podcast, and now we've dipped back down below
if
300.
anyone is watching this episode, that came to the channel from that tweet, please leave a comment.
Yes.
Just say that you're here because of that tweet and that tweet alone, and
say I'm here because Lady Gaga is wizard.
There it is. It's funny because Colleen, we have a Peloton, and she's doing a Lady Gaga ride right now. I can hear the Lady Gaga music across the way there. So we love Lady Gaga in this house.
This channel does have Lady Gaga content.
We just talked about Lady Gaga. There you go.
Can I just say though, everyone's like, this confirms she's doing the theme song, but it doesn't say song by Lady Gaga. It says music by. She's part of the scoring team behind the movie, which is awesome because Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick, also directed Tron Legacy, and he did an unconventional score with that using Daft Punk. So I'm excited. I'm kind of excited for the score. I mean, Hans Zimmer, whatever, but Harold Faltermeyer did the original Top Gun.
I was going to say, did Faltermeyer do the first one? So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think you'll have Hans Zimmer for the
military themes. If he's just going to rip off his score from The Rock again. You know,
exactly.
For the 9th
that would be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Just put that in it.
It could be worse. It could be the Joker theme where his cat walked into the studio and slept on the keyboard. All right. Anyway.
I've got to talk about music later on. I was listening to your episode of Star Wars Music Minute earlier, Ralph. So,
you're at 297. So there's got to at least be 3 people that are either watching right now or watching after the fact that haven't subscribed yet. I know this for a fact. I know how YouTube works. So if you're watching this right now, hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. It's right over there, down there.
You got it.
And then also hit the like while you're down there fishing around for those things. Yeah.
All we want is a fraction of you guys' subscription. Like that's just a small bit.
It's a slow growth. It's been
by the way, congrats.
A little bit.
You hit 10,000.
We're talking about 300, and you guys just hit 10,000. That's amazing. Well done.
You guys just did your 300th video too. I think you're at 301 now.
You're the one who pointed that out to me. I didn't realize.
Really?
Yeah.
Ralph, you're 50 some odd of those, and then John and I are 100 and some odd of those, and that means that I've the other ones, right? That math.
Oh yeah, we've done 50 Screen Geeks.
Yeah, we've done 50 some odd. It's more than 50 though. I feel like now.
You got to be close to 100 on your own.
I think if it's 102 Toy Geeks, 50 some odd first, it has to be around 150 for me. That sounds about right, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway. Who's counting? All I know is I'm very thankful.
Alf, apparently.
Well, no, what happened was like Jay was doing a big push to get more subscribers, and I was like, I'll help him out. And so when I went to his page to subscribe from like Live Action Star Wars or something, it said like 9.99K likes and then 299 videos.
Yep.
Next to it. So. And I knew you had it was like Sunday. I knew you were like less than 10 away and you had a show coming up. And I'm like, if you hit 10,000 and do your 300 video on the same night, that'd have been awesome. And it happened.
We hit 10,000 subs, and then that Toy Geeks that night was the 300th overall episode of Geek Dad Live. So, and then it was also really cool. I haven't said this anywhere yet, but once Zach saw it was 99999. Zach was like, can I subscribe? And he has his own little YouTube channel that he made and kind of gave up on like after 2 episodes. But so then he went in and he was my 10,000th subscriber.
Oh, that's
wow. That's awesome.
Even better.
Yeah, I was just like, but it was just, I didn't expect, it was just like, can I do it? Can I be 10,000? I was like, sure. Yeah, let's, I kind of remember his password to that YouTube account. And
you tell him to go sign up for your Patreon.
Sign up for Patreon accidentally. She wanted to do the stream, and I said, I'll send you the link, but as you all know, doing the live streams, just like, shit, there's not enough time. Just, I don't know, figure it out. So then she ended up signing up for Patreon.
All right, let's talk about Star Wars.
Yeah,
I suppose we
some
should.
Star Wars toys and collecting and stuff. Like, I mean, I guess you guys might like action figures and toys and things.
A little bit.
Little bit. Yeah.
John's got his Motu.
I feel like if you could kind of go around the clock on this screen right here with like just the breakdown, like you've got Jay with his cabinets and shelves just busting at the seams. You then move over to John, who's got it nice and neatly organized on like 3 distinct shelves that are visible. I've got a bookcase that's got a smattering of some stuff there and here and there. And then you go to Ralph and it's just like, there is
or my dresser.
Your dresser.
It always has Toily up there.
There you go.
Green Lantern from KB Toys kind of hangs out there sometimes. And this is a bank that I bought from John's eBay page, and I love it. It's an Ewok bank. So usually everything, if people go to Casino Skunk, the YouTube page, you can see that everything that I'm looking at is walls of just stuff. I mean, I got lightsabers and Green Lanterns, and
it's almost like
Godzillas,
you need to somehow be able to like flip it, and so you can see, because your desk is this kind of big multi-tier shelf thing with a bunch of
I was thinking what I could do is I can always like take a picture of it and use it as a backdrop.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would look like your rooms and stuff.
It is really interesting, like thinking about everyone's like setups, things like that. Because like, Ralph's got big elaborate sort of setup. My desk is quite minimalist. Like I've got my laptop on a stand that I'm using here. I've got another Mac here that I really is old and battered. I kind of just use it for extra light when I need it. And then that's pretty much it. Like I've got my mic and lights and stuff, but that's it. Like I don't have anything around.
Well, if I flipped the layout here, because I used to look at this because this is like my favorite thing to look. Well, I don't know, the whole room I love.
But now you face a mirror.
I like
favorite thing to look at.
I like looking at these toys, and then the wall. So I was on the other side of this desk, but then it was, the lighting was terrible on that side. So once I was going to try to start doing, I think it was for the first one I did with you, Ralph. I don't know, a year and a half ago. I was like, I think I flipped it to this side because the lighting was so bad on that side. And
well, what's funny is I visited North Carolina a few months back, and I went into that room, and now I have a much better sense of like what that window is back there. Like that window is so weird because it doesn't look like it goes to outside. It looks like it goes to another room, but it doesn't. I understand what that is. It's a carport. It's a carport.
The driveway goes around the house.
I see.
That's a deck right up there. So there's a big deck, and that's just the driveway. Yeah, under there.
Yeah, it's a carport.
There's like a pond.
And then it's weird because when I walk into the room, you're not facing that wall behind you. That's where you come in.
Exactly.
And so it didn't look familiar. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look how I look. And then I turned around. I'm like, oh shit, that's from Toy Geeks.
That's internet's backdrop.
Yeah.
Well, I work from home for work, so I Zoom a lot. And whenever I meet somebody new, they're like, "That's not a real background, is it?" And I was like, and I just make something of like,
just grab something.
It should be like a special effect. You just have a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on like a green stick.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh my god.
It's funny, my girlfriend's been working from home quite a bit recently, and normally she'll go downstairs where the only thing behind her is like just a piece of sort of artwork that unless you're staring at it, you can't really tell that it's kind of nerdy. But then she had to work up here. I can't remember why, but last week sometime. And then she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do the blur background thing because I just don't want the questions." I was like, "It's fair. I don't blame you."
The job I'm in right now, I interviewed for over Zoom, like all of us kind of do now if you go remote. But and Colleen was just like, you're not going to do it in your office, are you? This is your first impression. You don't want to see it, do you? I was like, no, it's just who I am. If they don't like me,
right.
Whatever.
It shows your dedication.
Yes.
There you go. You spin it. You got to be able to spin it. Like, yeah.
I don't know how you guys deal with dusting your shelves.
You just do it a lot.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
The thing is that's different probably for you is like, this is like the office. I go in here, do Toy Geeks, work for the day, and then I leave. versus if it's so I don't have a lot of dust accumulate here because I'm not in here all the time. Versus
and
like
that window stays closed
all the time, right? Yeah, and that's sealed. There's UV light. There's just it's not the same as a room that you're in all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does make a big difference. It'd be nice to have like a dedicated space for just doing.
Another dusting tip is you don't want like a fan. A fan will blow dust around and then it'll accumulate more. So if you can keep without a lot of moving air, that helps as well.
Yeah. I have a fan in here that in 3 years I think it's been turned on twice.
Oh wow. Yeah, it makes a difference, especially if it's, as you said, up there, because you don't want it blowing at the toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my window here, which I need to have open a lot of times, and then the central AC right there. I'm like right in the.
Yep. So basically,
and that's why I used at the beginning of the show I had the desk on this wall, but I hated it. Over there. I did a special effect on this show once. So I was doing a show from over there, and I created this CG cat. No, I was on, but you could see the door to the hallway. And
yeah.
Stevie just walked by in like her pajamas, aka whatever she was working in, and I didn't want her. This was when we pre-taped the show instead of doing live, and so I actually went in, photoshopped a cutout, the hallway empty, put it over that section of video, and I think you could tell if you know it's there.
I was hoping you'd put like a digital do-back or something.
I could have.
Yeah. Suddenly, just Boba Fett walks past at the end of the scene. Right. Mean mugs the camera and then carries on.
So there's one thing I got all my toys ready. Like, what are we how are we talking about this?
You know what? This is the data link. Yeah, it's totally freeform. It's similar to Geek Dad Life After Dark.
I like that he asked a question and took his headphones off.
Yeah.
I didn't miss what
no, we didn't say anything about you, Jay. Don't worry.
Oh, come on. What were we saying?
Ooh, a Luke lightsaber.
My butt hanging out, probably. But
no, we're talking about anything. We're talking about anything.
Yeah, it's so freeform.
Can we start with lightsabers?
Absolutely.
I got one of those.
This isn't my original one that I got, but I was so excited when the Power of the Force. I mean, the Power of the Force 2, I think for a lot of us toy collectors, at least of like this era, began collecting Star Wars toys versus like playing with Star Wars toys, right? And until this point, I always wanted a lightsaber like so bad. But since I was born in the Dark Ages, or like my prime, kid years were in the Dark Ages, like the 85 to 95, you couldn't find a lightsaber anywhere. Except for those like cheap light,
laser swords,
the rainbowy ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like when I saw they were doing this lightsaber, I was just so excited. I think it was a Christmas gift that year. It broke like all toy stores. And then I got this in a collection. But this one is still an all.
Where does that rank? Where does that rank against the Hook sword?
Hook is number one. Hook is number one for, I guess, play swords. Number one role play would be Ghostbusters Proton Pack, but I was just so excited to finally have but it still kind of ticked me off that it didn't go all the way in. It wasn't very silver, but like lightsabers or lightsaber enthusiasts have such a so that's why that Luke Saber's always had a special place in my heart. So when I went to Disneyland,
John, where's your Luke Saber?
Yeah. So we all got. Am I right in thinking that we've all got a slightly different Luke Saber?
Oh yeah, what's yours?
So mine's the Master Replicas one.
Oh, okay.
Mine was like the first Master Replicas one that they did before Master Replicas got bought by Hasbro. And it's like it's kind of weird because it swivels. Like it's got a weird sort of swiveliness to it. Like that's why I normally just have it hung up.
These swivel. I'm gonna do it away from here because they squeak.
Yeah.
But these only swivel so you can put the ugly thick part on so the blade could go in.
Like there's no inner bit to this, and I assumed that's how it was meant to be. But yeah, it was 2002 Master Replicas
I forgot my cat's afraid of lightsabers, so he took off.
It's one of those ones where I've looked, and I wish I hadn't ever looked at how much these go for on eBay.
Yeah. How much
and
do you go
it's
for?
like, I think a couple of grand.
Oh
wow.
So get this only $165.
I mean, it's very tempting. I've got the box for it. It's not in like pristine condition, the box, but the lightsaber is like it's been pretty much hung up on a bookcase or a wall for a long time. And before that, it was in the box. It was nice, like felt box and everything is down there. I could get it, but I don't want it.
Hey, actually,
you could probably clean it up and sell it for a pretty good price. And
I think I could
sell. Get
the. Because
this one's great. I think
I like it. From everything that I've seen of that one, it's as good. There's no drop off in quality or anything. Like it's like, I really just need to get around to doing it. But again, it's the secondary market over here compared to over there. It's so much smaller. It's finding the right people that are going to pay the price that it does go for. It's the same with anything, but that's what I struggle with selling things on.
Yeah.
But the thing is, for me, like, I don't know if Hasbro Pulse, is that the one that are releasing the Black Series lightsabers or whatever?
I think the special ones, but go ahead, John.
But I don't know if they have a Luke one, but I bet you it might be better than the Galaxy's Edge. Because I have this Rey lightsaber, which I love, and it's got the switch right here. I've reviewed this on the site. But
is that a Galaxy's Edge one or the
this is the Galaxy's Edge one, but the Hasbro released one, it probably costs like twice as much, and it actually turns on by flipping this cog like in the movie, and then in between here you can see the light comes through on the Hasbro
color change
one.
as well, isn't it?
And the color flashes green, blue, then yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it has a button in it that makes blocking sounds, I guess.
Oh,
so this one is awesome. The little butthole piece right here is just plastic pieces that you pull up manually like that. I'm trying to do it in the thing. And I'm not sure what that's made of on the Hasbro one, but this is just plastic.
Yeah.
Love it as a shelf piece, but the Hasbro one looks like such an upgrade. So I would say if you want to sell yours, you can probably get a pretty good.
I mean, if I could sell it for the price that I've seen them go for, I'd think I'd buy all of the lightsabers that I've.
Yeah, you could buy it.
Yeah, you could get like a dozen of them.
Absolutely, I would just fill these shelves with all of them.
You could fly to Disneyland.
Yeah, I mean, it could. It would legit fund. It would fund a trip to Celebration.
Yeah, this is one of my newer ones. The Mace Windu one. My sister got me this for my birthday. This is amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a review on this pretty soon.
I went purple for the build your own saber. But again, I think Ralph, I learned the pro tip from you of just like the same saber works on the legacy ones and the other ones. But I did want to ask you, are they kind of like conditioned not to say, because I feel like they kept saying that the sabers were $250. I was like, okay, I don't know. But then they were like, oh, just the saber is $170 or whatever, $175, whatever this one was. And I was like, oh, okay, but do you want to get the saber too? I was like, how much is that? $50. I was like, oh, well, if I'm building my own saber, can I use that one? They're like, yeah. And then I didn't know.
It's weird because they don't work on commission, so it's weird that they.
I didn't know if they had like an attachment rate, like what's your saber to like hilt attach rate or something.
But it's cool because you have the one blade. If you stick it in Luke's, it's green. If you stick it in Mace Windu's, it's purple. Exactly. There's some sort of programming in the saber hilt itself that tells the blade what color to be.
I love that.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah. And then my wife has the Build-A-Saber, and she wanted yellow blades, but in the ceremony they didn't have a yellow kyber crystal available, so she got green and used that. We went to the store, the Savvy's no, not Savvy's Workshop, Doc Ondar's, and she just bought a yellow kyber crystal for like $10, put that in there, and it changes the blade color. So it's kind of neat, like
very, very cool
that you can just have one blade. But
and that's to me where these beat out Hasbro, because you can get multiple hilts and that one blade works for all of them, and it'll change colors. You can change out the crystals. I mean, these don't have the crystal component, but the build your own does. And I a huge fan. Like again, I was so excited I finally got to experience it because you've been rubbing these sabers in my face for years now, Ralph.
Yeah, sorry. Pandemic and
I think
situation.
that's the thing that when Hasbro first took over and they were doing the Force Effects ones, like I was always just like, yeah, but I love this lightsaber, and because of this section here, you couldn't have this lightsaber.
Right.
It looked bulky and it looked too much like a toy.
Yeah.
Whereas like these ones, that's why I like
right.
These.
It looks like this, but more metal.
Yeah, exactly. But
here's something cool that you might want to, I don't know if you want to invest in this or not, but the kyber crystals have whatever the chip is inside is something similar to like a store scanner, like when you price toys on the shelf at a store and you can program the price. You can do that to the kyber crystals. So the kyber crystals, let's say you have a red kyber crystal, you can hit the button, it'll bring up a list of things, and you can change what color it'll output the blade to. So even though it's red, you can change it to purple or white or black or whatever, put it in your saber, and it'll do that. It's some sort of a chip reader that works with the blade. And I think you can get one of those things, those guns for $40-$50 on Amazon.
Or just have a friend who works in retail and can
break one. Right. Because I know the thing is you can get the red kyber crystals, and like every 20th one is a white crystal inside.
Yeah, there's like the special black ones and stuff, or the white ones, yeah.
So that one will show up on your list on your price gun.
Yeah.
So yeah. So insider tip: buy one kyber crystal,
and then get an RF scanner
and get a reader.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. That's a good hack for those things. I like it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys, what is your history? Obviously, you collect everything, but what is your history with Star Wars collecting specifically? Does it go all the way back, or like where did you jump in?
John, go ahead.
Okay. I did not collect all the way back. I had one figure when I was growing up, when I was a kid. I had Dengar, which was dug up in my back neighbor's lawn. I I see like his backpack sticking out, and I'm like maybe 5 years old.
Okay.
And that Dengar figure was mine as long as I could remember. And then when I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and I remember in school, the school nurse brought in a bag of like her kids' Star Wars ships for one of my classmates who he was like a troubled kid. Okay. And it was like his reward program, like when he did good work or whatever in school.
You got a bag of ships.
And I remember
he's my hand-me-downs kid.
Yes. And some of them were like super hand-me-downs. Well, anyway, he had gotten a snow speeder that was nothing to it, completely stripped, just a shell. And one of the points on the front, the 2 points on the front, one of them was broken off, like somebody stepped on it. So he didn't want it. So he gave it to me. And that was like my first, other than Dengar, that was my own one and only Star Wars thing. So those two pieces were my only Star Wars items until Power of the Force 2.
Wow.
So, I was huge into Star Wars. Like I was buying every book that I could that had to do with like the special effects and the puppets, like everything from Lucasfilm I was buying. And then when
stuff.
Yeah. And then when I came and found this, like this absolutely blew my mind. Just seeing like everything that's in here, even though it's black and white, I didn't care. And I might have seen 10 things in this entire book growing up, because I was not my only real exposure to Star Wars was renting the movies from my library. And that was it. I never seen like anything in the stores. I don't remember Star Wars being in the stores whatsoever.
It was the dark
like after 1985 there was pretty much no Star Wars anywhere.
But being born in 81 and like getting my first toys was like He-Man stuff. Like when I was 3 years old, I got my first He-Man. Like I got Ram Man. That was my first figure.
Are you a big He-Man fan?
Nah,
Yeah.
he's I don't know. He's all right.
But the thing is, like 85 was the tail end of Star Wars, like prime Star Wars. John, you're probably like 2 years old, you know?
Right. But I mean, going to yard sales, going everywhere.
Yeah.
I had no idea what Star Wars,
Not even yard
like what the merchandise level of Star Wars. And even when I found that Dengar, I was like, I think he's from Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, it's not like he's a character
could,
that's jumping out. It's
right.
not,
This guy could be one of a million things. I have no idea, but it's cool. So I'm going to keep it. He fits in.
Was that your first Stump John?
Yeah.
It was, I think this is from Star Wars.
Yeah. And then like when Power of the Force 2 came out, and I seen that first in like Tomart's or Lee's toy review, you know, when they were previewing it, and I was like I need to start finding as much of this as I can, because I feel like I missed out on so much just from this book alone. And you know, and 90% of everything that's in here you would never find in the wild. Everything that's not toy related, and half the stuff in here is international. But then of course Power of the Force 2, that, you know, kicked off.
It was like a clean slate.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And even though like we kind of, you know, shit on the sculpts and, you know, the beefiness, and, you know,
well, did you like them because they were like Motu? With the big shoulders.
No, it honestly, when they first came out, it didn't faze me whatsoever.
It didn't bother me either. For me, I was born in 77, so I grew up with Star Wars. And so to not have Star Wars for, you know, 15 years or whatever, and then all of a sudden there was some Star Wars toys, of course I wanted them.
Yeah. And everything on the shelf was muscular. Yeah. Everything. I mean, McFarlane was out.
90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the 90s. Yeah. It was like these figures just fit in. And it didn't bother me whatsoever. And as soon as I did everything that I could to like walk out of the store with piles of them, as much as I could.
See, it's so funny because my Power of the Force 2 collecting was so minimal, because I was still at that time just trying to fill out my Kenner collection. Like, because I had, my brother's 9 years older than me, my sister's 7 years older than me. I was born in 87. And so I inherited a lot of theirs that they were buying when they were coming out or getting bought for them. And then I was also then hunting down, like going through like the yellow pages and finding people selling old collections, going to, we don't really have yard sales, but going to like car boot sales and toy fairs and things like that, and finding them that way. And that was just something that me and my dad did. I did with other family members, and it was filling out the gaps in that collection for me. So when Power of the Force came out, I was like, this is awesome. I love being able to go into Toys R Us and see Star Wars stuff. But I only really wanted 2 or 3 of the figures. And it was of either characters that I just hadn't been able to find. Or ones that I was just like, that's just a really cool figure. I really like. I prefer this Luke in his X-Wing fatigues rather than the Kenner one, because this one actually looks kind of more like Luke in the face as opposed to the black hair.
I always thought that black was the visor. I don't know why on the vintage one.
Yeah, I don't know. That was one of those figures that my mum stepped on as a kid, so the head was glued on. So the head didn't turn. That was one of those figures. I remember there was only a few. There was a few where the head would turn completely all the way around and the arms would be flinging all the everywhere, but that one, the head didn't move.
I think I mentioned this before, but growing up, I had a snowspeeder also. I think it was also a hand-me-down. And I had a Pilot Luke for the front. And I also had the mail-away Palpatine.
Oh, nice.
Which did not fit in the co-pilot seat at all.
Definitely not.
His legs barely bent. And so that was it. But I did get, now this sounds crazy, my next door neighbor had all the Star Wars toys, and I think that's the reason why I got the Palpatine, because they were like collecting them all. So I played with his, and the mom mailed away for all as many as she can get, and she gave me a Emperor, but somehow ended up with their, it was a bit incomplete, but the Death Star playset.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I remember it missing the Dianoga and some of the sponges, and I had to use like a shoelace for the rope swing across. It was definitely busted up, but I remember it being in our back patio. Like I didn't even keep it in my room. It was so beat up. But that's an awesome playset. It's that elevator, and then the how they incorporated the elevator with the what do you call that? The tractor beam.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You see it right there on that
right
shelf.
Next to the Technodrome.
Yep. Right next to the Technodrome and right next to the Star Destroyer as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Oh, my friend had the Star Destroyer, had Dagobah. He had all the like Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars play sets. I love the Dagobah one with the sort of sponge quicksands.
I don't even. I still to this day, I don't know if I've ever seen one in real life.
I've seen shells of them, but they're always that sponge is always toast.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. And then of course he had the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Sherwood Forest, Ewok playset.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah. For me, it was my first ever figure was a Darth Vader, the vintage Kenner Darth Vader. Right. It was a hand-me-down. It was missing the lightsaber, but I loved it so much because. And I've talked about this before, but my introduction to Star Wars was my dad had it taped off of HBO, I think. And so that was our Star Wars. And and I just became what?
Just thinking about Jack.
Oh, I know.
Taping something off of HBO instead.
That was all of our movies was like taped off of HBO, right?
Oh yeah.
I might still have a tape of Ghostbusters followed by Beverly Hills Cop somewhere.
Amazing.
It's a great one too.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say, what a double feature.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what was paired with Star Wars, maybe like Rocky 3 or something like that. But anyway,
that sounds awesome,
right? So I was obsessed with it. You couldn't find Star Wars toys anywhere, right? This was the late 80s at that point, and so a friend, my parents' friend, he was like older than me. He was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years older than me. He had that figure. He was like, I don't care about Star Wars. You can have this. And I was like, it's not the cape. I loved it so much. But the head broke off of it in 1989 and it was devastated. Absolutely.
Very specific. What happened in 1989? Was he fighting your Batman figures or something?
I remember when it happened, I was in my parents' room. I was on their bed playing, and I vividly, I could go right back to that moment. And I remember my mom going, I'm sorry, Jay, I don't know how I can fix this. And that was it. That was the end of the Darth
And that's
Vader.
the day she invented Gorilla Glue.
Those vivid memories, though. Like I've got one of losing Luke's, like Return of the Jedi Luke's lightsaber. So that one because that came away. It wasn't built into the arm. It was a much better lightsaber. I remember losing it. I remember where I was sat in the hallway of the house that I was living in at the time, and I put it behind me just there. I turned back, it was gone. Like that quick, and it was gone, never seen again, never found again. I'm still convinced to this day a mouse came and stole it and ran away.
Maybe.
I mean, very possible,
that mouse.
very possible. But just that lightsaber, nothing else was missing. But it's the vivid memory of where I put it. And then turning and it was gone seconds later.
I wonder, will that be like your red bud? Like, well,
absolutely.
There it is sitting on a little mouse. This mouse was collected over.
And the opposite of that is finding the Han in disguise like helmet, the Stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah,
finding that because that was an inherited figure. That wasn't one that I
had a Power of the Force version of that I believe was also like a Kellogg's giveaway.
Okay, cool.
That was mail away. There was in the last 17. It was Luke in Stormtrooper disguise, I think, with the little helmet. That little helmet's worth like, what is that, John? Like a $200 helmet, something like that.
Yeah, wow. Easy. That and the solid black blaster.
Yes,
impossible to find.
It's the blaster that came with that Stormtrooper disguise Luke. It's the only one that looks like that. Out of that little blaster that they repurposed 10 bajillion times in the line.
Yep.
It is the only one that is completely black, and so that's where you can and that blaster goes for a couple $100 if you find that the actual real one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. If you find it, and then still, what are
there were so many counterfeits.
The amount of doubt that's in an authentic one.
Yeah.
is incredible.
Like I had so many blasters, like the Lando Jabba's Palace blaster and things like that. Like I had like a few of those because there was a guy who was selling, and he was like, "They are all counterfeit." I was like, "I know, I'd like an authentic one, but I'm not going to find one. I'll just take the baggie of 5 for like £2 or whatever it was."
My sister got me this maybe like 15 years ago, and it still has the cardboard inside.
Nice.
All the labels aren't on a sheet; they're actually laid out. So my thought was, I'll spend my time refilling this. And what I've been doing is getting complete versions, but loose, like nothing too crazy. And the blasters that they come with, I assume they're like repros or something. I don't know how to figure that shit out.
Well, John, do you want to tell them some of the techniques you can use to
I'm going to open this up while you explain. I'm still listening.
Yes. Well, there's the most classic is the float test, in which you just drop it on, like, fill up a cup of water and drop the blaster on the surface of the water. If it floats, it's real. If it sinks, it's counterfeit. Because resin sinks.
Yeah.
But there are some accessories that do sink. Yoda's cane, for one, sinks. Sometimes they'll float, but if you tap it, it'll sink again. But the counterfeit market has gotten so good that there are floating counterfeit versions now. But then, like, I'll still always go back to the Imperial gunnery to ID the stuff, because a lot of the accessories, they have different EPM marks on them, and that's a little circle that's on the just about every accessory. And that is EPM is a ejector pin mark.
Okay.
Because when like the steel tool that the steel molds, when the hot plastic goes in and fills up the cavity, and the mold opens up, and nobody's going to stick their hand in there and pick out the pieces because it's boiling hot plastic. There's a pin that taps it,
pops it out,
and it pops it out of the mold, and it leaves that little impression. And for every like version, because different factories had different tools, you know, there might be 3 or 4 versions of every authentic weapon. They'll all have different EPMs on them.
That's awesome.
So
are we gonna get a float? Are we gonna get a live float test?
That gray,
the gray, that's fake.
Yeah, the
light gray. Yeah,
white one.
That's the thing, is I get them because I don't really care that much. Like, I'm not collecting to resell. I'm collecting to play with. The blue blaster rifle at the bottom looks like many that I had growing up. So
yeah, that looks real.
Yeah,
and the crossbow looks real because it has the translucency to it.
Yep.
But
the Stormtrooper blaster looks a little light to my eye here, but again, it's been a while since I've seen any of these.
I have 3 different color trooper blasters, and I just assume when I get them, I'm assuming they're all repros.
Yeah.
But
those are all fake.
Those are. If it's an Imperial blaster and it's gray, it's going to be fake unless you got. Like,
are they going to be more of this blue color?
Yep. Yeah, it'll be blue or blue black.
Yep.
And you can always put it on top of a flashlight that's turned on and see how much shines through of the actual color of it.
That was always the way. Like, I could tell that the ones that I inherited were always real, because like my brother and sister were getting them like from the package. Whereas the ones that I was getting from toy fairs later on, like through the 90s and stuff, there was like, that's when the repros were coming in.
Yeah.
That's where Go ahead.
How funny would it have been if I pulled out Luke's black blaster?
It's rare. So the way that
all this fake shit
mine was real is it was still on the bubble, like the bubble had broken, but it still was taped to the side of the. It was still all in package and everything, essentially. And then for most of the others, I'm very fortunate that most I either got from John, or there's another good friend that we have named Keith, and he's been buying up Star Wars figures for decades, and he knows, like, he just has that instinctual knowledge. You can just like look at it, like, fake, real.
Yeah. He can take a little taste.
Yeah, just like
yeah.
Real.
It's like watching a diamond
right?
shop
Kinda,
worker. Like it's the same sort of thing. It's like
it's like was it Cornelius? What's it from where Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Oh
Reindeer?
yeah, he licks his pick.
Yeah.
Yukon Cornelius.
So I think
Yukon Cornelius. That's it.
so. Now that I know John's eBay channel, I think from now on, if I ever, because it'll be like in 6 months, I'll be like, you know what, I want to get another guy, and I'll go look. So I'll get it off of John now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You gotta if you're buying, you gotta buy from somebody you trust. So I'm glad you brought up that C-3PO. So the next Star Wars vintage one I ever got was this C-3PO figure. I got at Kobe's Swap Meet in 1992. So I've had this one. This one is the oldest one that I've had. And then the following year there was a place called like Star Traders or something like that in El Cajon, California.
That was the same Artie that I had, definitely. The sensor.
And then that was it until the Power of the Force 2. So this is my first Luke that I got from Power of the Force 2. And then this was the first R2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had is that the one that shoots the lightsaber?
No, this is the normal, the first release.
Yeah.
Okay, can I do a Stump John while we're talking about R2s?
Sure.
Ooh.
Is that a Tamaguchi thing?
It is a screen. If you want me to activate the screen.
Is that a random number generator?
It's just is it just a timer?
No. It's a random number generator, 1 through 6. It is the dice used for the Star Wars Trivial Pursuit game.
That's awesome.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
That's sick.
So I use this on our Fireball Island game, so people trust that I'm.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's great if you've got to play like an
Fireball
RPG or something digitally.
Yeah.
Like, what a way to do it.
And then this, so the Power of the Force 2 is absurd. Like some of them are absurd. So this one is one of the.
He's shot something out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So he opens
his motivator. Oh, that's ridiculous. Come on.
then he launches this little missile. Oh,
how do they make a droid look buff? They managed it. There's something about it though. He's got like, shoulders.
He has got like blasters that come off his side.
It's fully loaded R5.
Like yeah, absolutely. It's R5 who just looks like he's he's gonna get in a bar fight later on. It's like,
do you remember that post long saber, short saber variant collecting that R5 was one of the next ones because the little latch on the side is either straight or hooked.
Oh, mine's hooked. Is hooked a good one?
No, hooked was the common one.
Worthless.
Throw it in the trash.
So John, left looking Chewie, is that like a real thing, and is it worth more, or is it just an urban legend?
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
The Chewbacca his eyes are like misprinted off to the left, so he's looking left. That was something that growing up are they?
Are they looking left?
They do look like they're looking left slightly. It's like
Sorry,
that was something that I always remember hearing. It was like, yeah, Chewie looking left was a thing that it was a
printing error. Like just,
it looks like I've always thought it just looks like a printing error.
Yeah, this Chewie also doesn't have a nose.
I would bet that it's all from the same factory.
Probably, yeah.
The half dot versus the whole dot, right?
Yeah,
there
was half circle, full circle.
That was the first Boba Fett toy I ever got with the removable rocket.
There was a few like toy hunts that like that elusive figure that took a while. And then once I found it, it was amazing. One of the earlier ones was a Nightcrawler from Toy Biz X-Men, but the one that I think I most passionately searched for was the old monkey face Leia.
Oh yeah. Bad toy.
But I remember at the time I didn't look bad. I was just like, I got her. Yeah. I got her.
It doesn't matter what it actually looks like.
Jay, you have 99 of the original 100?
Yeah, I'm there's my vintage is all there. So all 98 or I can't remember what I use as like my official guide. I included Blue Snaggletooth as an official variant, included Brown Snake Yoda.
Like 117 or something, wasn't it?
So there's like, I think, was it, John? Is it officially, it varies between 99 and 103 depending on the significant variants that you count. But small head Han, big head Han.
Anyway,
so I'm only what's his nuts?
Yak face.
Yak face.
Oh, you're a yak face short.
See, I lucked out.
I know someone with a yak face.
You should have that on a that should be on a shirt.
I could put a message in.
That should be on a shirt. I'm a yak face short.
You make that happen.
We can make that happen.
Easily make that happen. I lucked out because I've just been recreating what's in the box. Nothing more, nothing less. Like and I'm lucky that this has the
regular Snaggletooth.
I know, right?
Yeah. Because if that was blue.
But I got a good deal on mine because I think our mutual friend John, James, he came into a big collection, and so like you make friends with toy dealers and they know what you're looking for, and there's like, oh hey Jay, I got a blue Snaggle. It looks amazing. Do you want it? I'm like, how much is this blue Snaggle? And luckily, I think it was pretty reasonable. It was less than retail.
What do they go for now?
I don't know what they go for now.
I would say, I mean, with nice paint, really nice, probably 350.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I remember back in, this would have been probably 97, 96, 97, I would guess. When I'd say at the height of my hunting down original Kenner stuff with my dad. The average price that you'd find one, if you could find one, was £100. And that was the height. So that's going back 30 years, nearly like 25 years, and price difference, like exchange rate.
Got an answer.
So there's one being bid on right now. It still has 2 days left, and the paint is nice, but it's about the same quality as mine. Mine's really nice. $495.
Oh my god!
It hasn't even finished being bid on yet. 2 more days.
Wow, I was way off.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I haven't looked since I got it, which was a few years ago. But it's people with blue Snaggletooths, to John's point, are really particular. Like they want, because it's the silver boots and they can wear off. So you want one that's like really nice.
And then you want the dent or the no dent toe. So you might have 2 variants to look for in mint condition.
I'm not counting. I got one. I think mine's a dented one. I think
it's fascinating to me. I sold my collection of everything pretty much. All of my old vintage stuff. 5 years ago now. And so I've been out of the game. And even then, I hadn't been really in it for a long time. Like the most I got back into it was when I was cleaning everything up to sell it all. Otherwise, it had been in storage for a long, long time. And cleaning up that sort of weekend that I took was amazing. I got to relive everything. I was like getting stuff out of baggies. And it was one of those things. I was like, I'm remembering 20 years ago when I put this in here and wrote this label. Like, I remember all of this. And it was great. I had a great time doing it. And then I sold it all. And as much as I love doing this now and talking about it and seeing all of this and being in the conversation, I don't miss the hunt at all.
Oh, you don't? That's the best.
I don't, not in the slightest. And I'm like, it's a relief to me because I know me, I know what I'm like, and I'd be right there with you guys. I'd be deep into it.
That's what I like about this case.
That's great.
Is that I didn't have Star Wars growing up. I wish I had Star Wars growing up. And this case isn't going to get any bigger.
Yeah.
It's not going to take up any more space than it already does. It's just going to be this
C-3PO case and just keep.
I know.
Get the other one.
Yeah.
Well, are there duplicates in there, or are those all different figures than what's on this card?
I put my Power of the Force figures. I kept most of mine carded, and then I don't know, like 10 years ago or something, I just opened them all up because I was like, these are worth a nickel, so I might as well let the ones that I haven't opened up out of the prison, and they're all in.
Because I feel like once I'm able to recreate this pipicture and this picture, then maybe I'll think about getting a C-3PO.
I have a gold C-3PO with the insert still, Ralph.
I used to have. When Power of the Force came out, I got the Millennium Falcon carrying case just to get the Wedge action figure that it came with.
Yep.
And up until like 2 years ago, that Wedge was still carded. And I probably should have. I don't know what a carded Wedge figure from the Millennium Falcon carrying case goes for, but I'm glad I opened it.
I mean, that's
what I used for the show art, because My favorite character is Bosk. James's favorite character is Wedge. He's got the helmet. So that's why the cover art for this episode is Bosk and Wedge.
I've got 3 Star Wars figures downstairs. I couldn't pull the lines off. I think Power of the Jedi, maybe Han Solo. The one where you can sort of have him sat down with his leg up on his shoulder and his hand is like he's up on the wall, like that one. And I've got him sat. He's on my bookcase with his hand up on a book, sort of thing. It's like It's great. It's just a nice little figure to have on the shelf. Like the hand is like resting on his gun and stuff. It's great. And then
I'm an open box collector.
Yeah, definitely. And the other 2 I've got are it's a Wedge and Tycho. Just because I'm a big fan of the X-Wing books, so it's Wedge Antilles and Tycho Selchuk, and they just sort of are hanging out on top of the bookcase downstairs.
I was telling Jay on the Discord about how like I would want a Black Series Bosk, but then as soon as that happens, I want a Luke, and then I want a Wedge, and then I want a Jackson. I feel I feel like I'm good with just the carrying case here. Just stick to the carrying case. I have a Bosk. He's plenty awesome. I feel like the one thing that'll get me to get a Black Series, which I don't even know if they're doing still, would be if they started getting into the Ewok adventures. Like if they made a Mace and Sindel 2-pack. Or no, Mace would be on his own, and it would be a Sindel and Wicket 2-pack.
Yeah.
Or Teak. Mace and Teak, Sindel and Wicket.
You just want Teak.
I'm getting them. I'm getting them. And
exclusive.
Then I'll get my Bosk, and then I'll get...
That does sound like an exclusive that you'd get at a con. Definitely.
Exclusive, I wouldn't be
when the Black Series first started, I was working at Forbidden Planet. And so I was like, cool, high-end, like 6-inch Star Wars figures. These are the sort of thing that I can buy and have a couple of these up on my shelf. And I bought, like, I think most of that first wave. So I've got the Luke, R2, Vader, Han, Chewie, and Vader, I believe. I think that might have been the entire first wave. There might have been a layer in there as well. And I've got those, and it was Luke in his X-Wing fatigues as well. It was like favorite Luke. And I didn't really think much of it. Later I got a couple from Force Awakens, and then I got the Lando from Solo because it was a Donald Glover action figure.
Exactly. That's why I got my Donald Glover is right there.
Yep, absolutely. I was just like, this is the closest thing I'm going to get to a Childish Gambino action figure.
Nope.
And so I was happy, but that's all I've got Black Series wise. And again, like seeing how much some of that first wave of Black Series goes for now, I'm like, this is crazy. I paid 15 quid for this.
Yeah, I quit Black Series, and I think both John and I went back to 3 3/4 inch. So this is the new.
Yep.
I was in a supermarket yesterday, and I was looking at a couple of the ones from Mandalorian, the 3 3/4, and I was like, this is cool seeing these in shelves. But
this comes with booze. I don't know what that booze is, but she comes with it.
Yeah, my Star Wars shelf. I have a lightsaber shelf, and then I have a shelf with sort of like my CT MTV7 CT7 mini rig, my Chewbacca shampoo from 78 or 9, and then this guy.
The pride and joy.
It's the foam.
That is so cool.
Which Christine Baver on dude does the Star Wars Insider editor just posted a picture of her in Ariel from the High Republic stuff. They had one of these.
Oh, that's awesome.
On their floor. It doesn't work. It's got a thing, and you're supposed to be able to press something down, but the voice box is broken, so I might need to upgrade it. But this was given to me by a viewer of the show, Tommy, and he saw it at a thrift store, said, I didn't get it. I'm like, how much was it? He's like $10. And I'm like, look how bright and colorful this thing is. I love it. And it just sits on my shelf in any time.
And we had Silver from Star Wars Thrifting on the show not too long ago, and you showed her that, and she was like, I've got to find one. I've got to hunt one down.
Oh, yeah. You guys, if you don't follow Star Wars Thrifting, follow Star Wars Thrifting. That's all she does is goes to flea markets and stuff and just shows off all her hauls. It's awesome.
She just bought an arcade cabinet for
Pod Racer.
Star Wars Pod Racer. Like the whole cabinet.
That's an insane.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And it still worked?
Yeah.
That one's tough. There's a specific, because I got into arcades, and there's something specific about that setup that if it breaks, you're done. That there's nothing else you can do. You just either have to buy another pod racer.
Yeah, it was a sit-down version too.
Yeah. Yep. It was sit down with the pod and everything. So, and also then found an Anakin helmet, I believe, so that she can play with the helmet on.
The look.
Yeah, it's pretty wizard.
It's Star Wars. You guys attend toy shows. Is Star Wars still pretty popular out there?
Yeah.
People still moving on.
There's just one.
I feel like the action figures, the current action figures, are kind of seem to be less and less. I don't know.
Well, the people running it, I think, are frustrating a lot of toy collectors. But there's still passion out there, and locally we have this one guy that has amazing Star Wars stuff, but he sells it for so expensive. He has a droid.
And people are buying it.
Yeah, basically, he has a droid C-3PO. If there's a couple of vintage ones I still really want. It's a droid's R2-D2 and a droid C-3PO, and he has one. And John, he's asking like super duper 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 top dollar. You wouldn't even buy it on eBay.
What was it? 400 for 3PO?
No, it was like $750 or something like that.
Mint on card?
No, it's just
loose.
sitting in a little baggie, sitting on the hook.
Wow.
That sounds like someone who's been told you need to sell this, but he really doesn't want to sell it.
But he sets up at all the shows, and he's got, again, great stuff. But it's the same stuff because nobody buys it.
He is just a Star Wars store. Yeah, he's the Star Wars shop. I think it's StarWarsShop.com, but he has like a place at I don't know if it's like an antique mall, like where he has a setup like as a vendor.
I mean, if his URL is StarWarsShop.com, then he probably just needs to pay the bills every month. Like that can't be a cheap URL to have.
Probably not. He probably gets offers all the time to buy it.
Yeah.
Probably asking 10 times what it's
yes. 10 grand.
So one thing, and I'm good for the year.
Yeah.
But he always has unbelievable stuff.
Yep.
But I think people that collect modern Star Wars are so frustrated because for years, especially throughout the 2000s, where like Hasbro released waves of 15, 20 figures and ships and multi-packs. And now it's like when we have like Fan First Fridays, we're like, oh, these 2 figures are going to be released in the next year. And then here's a pipeline of 3 more figures that will be released over the next 8 years.
It really kind of feels like it's dried up on that side of things. Like there's still the demand, there's still the fervor for it, but the actual production just doesn't seem to be there. Like we're a year out from Bad Batch and there's still no figures for it or something?
Exactly. It blows my mind. You wouldn't think of that back then, and that's the frustrating part, 100%. And because it's not just a toy industry thing, because Marvel has their stuff out, Mattel has that, like He-Man has, like all these other properties get their stuff out.
Marvel's been spoiling Doctor Strange for weeks,
right? Exactly.
With the toys
for like months in advance.
Lego, there's still consistent Lego, but it's not. It still feels like it's a bit slower than it was, like say 10 years ago. They just recently announced and released, I think, those sort of the mini sets, like the Architecture Skylines, but for Star Wars. And I'm definitely going to get at least one of those. I really like the Death Star trench run that they've done. The Dagobah one's really nice too. But other than that, like they've got the Master Collector series, which are lovely. But I don't know. There just doesn't seem to be new stuff consistently. It's bizarre. I don't understand it. Considering you think about licensed toys, and Star Wars is like that. They're the granddaddy. They're the ones that sort of kicked it all
sort of
off.
started it all.
It really did.
And now this year we have a non-Rancor. We there was gonna be a Rancor, and then
Rancor Gate was
even if they started that Rancor thing after Book of Boba Fett, I still don't think there's
It was only 500 people short. If they did it afterwards, it would have backed.
Yeah, easily.
Almost 100%.
Yeah.
Easily.
Well, if I'll back a Ewok Adventures Black Series if they do that.
I'll back it just for you, Ralph.
Oh my god.
That's great.
All right. We've hit over an hour, and I don't want to hold you guys too long.
I gotta go see.
Let's do some
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
I really want to.
I want to see that.
I
want to see that. Did I create? I didn't. I was gonna say I think I might have created a banner for you guys, but I didn't. You can go to geekdadlife.com, or just go to the YouTube page, which is in the show notes. I went to geekdadlife.com yesterday. I'm like, oh, this isn't.
Yeah, it's a site that I have. Just
go to the YouTube page.
Yeah.
And then John, do you have anything to plug?
If you want to buy something from me, you can always go to my eBay page, the Hero Source, or my eBay username is Small Plastic Heroes, all one word. Right. And then catch me on Toy Geeks with Jay every Sunday night at 9.
Awesome. Yeah. What should I do? And now Toy Geeks After Dark, because you guys have a Patreon now.
We have a Patreon.
Patreon.com/GeekDadLife.
It's a fun one. We're having fun.
The Discord has been fun this week.
The Discord's a lot of fun. I gotta get John on it. I gotta teach him the Discord. How to Discord.
Yeah, I don't
catch me up on the modern technology.
Yeah, I'm with you, John.
I'll post every single picture of every single Star Wars weapon I have, and you can tell me that they're all fake.
I want a live float test bonus episode.
Yeah.
There you go.
The one way, especially if you have gray accessories, gray blasters. The only real gray blasters are the Biker Scout pistol, and Squid Head came with a gray Bespin blaster.
Interesting. So they're
all I don't even think I have a Han Solo. And if I do, it's like this is a Princess Leia blaster. It looks like.
Looks close. Yeah.
That looks pretty close.
Well, I'm gonna go get
something
water.
that's meant to be a Princess Leia blaster.
You're on float test.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a glass of water. I'm gonna put them all in, and then I'll send you a picture of all the ones that sink. just a pile of guns at the bottom of a glass.
At the bottom of a glass.
Oh my gosh!
If it sinks,
I'll post that picture at Live Action SW on our socials. You can visit us. It's hard to say. You can visit us at liveactionstarwars.com for our YouTube channel and liveactionsw.com for our website. And I want to thank you guys for joining us. We got to do this again.
Yes.
It was so much fun. Yeah. And I
feel like we've only scratched the surface as well on like Star Wars.
Yeah, and there's always Star Wars shit to talk about.
I'll bring a lightsaber next time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes. But will you bring this one?
No, the first Power of the Force Luke that Jay has, I do have that one.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I think I got that. The only one of those I got was the I didn't get that. I got the Qui-Gon.
I had the Qui-Gon.
And the Qui-Gon is a lightsaber that I want them to do as a legacy saber. I think it might be my favorite lightsaber design. I think it's a really sleek.
It's elegant.
Yeah.
More elegant weapon for a more elegant
civilized age.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to you guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat. It was a blast, and we'll do it again soon.
And we'll be back with a regular episode next week, talking about movies aren't released; they escape. An episode 2 documentary in our continuing build up to Obi-Wan Kenobi, which will be a couple of days later.
Awesome.
On a Friday and Saturday, then I'm gonna go to celebrate.
So yeah, that week you're gonna be getting 3 episodes because we're still gonna have something out on that Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll lose my voice.
That'll probably be our Ralph's anticipating celebration weekend.
Yeah. My voice is gonna be shot.
But until next week, don't give in to hate.
Celebrate the love.
Punch it.